A couple of you have suggested that I paint a Highland cow, so in this video I'm going to show you how I painted this one step by step. So let's get started. I'm using this photo reference from pixabay.com. I liked the look of the blondish fur and the bright highlights along the back. I started by sketching the cow and tracing it onto Arches cold pressed 300-pound paper. Then I wet the background to make a soft abstract effect. By the way, I will list all the supplies I used in the video description. I'm adding perylene green to the wet background, adding it in patches. I mix in some Naples yellow, since this will tone down the intensity of the green color and create harmony between the cow and the background, since I will be using Naples yellow in the fur as well. Along the chest and ear on the right, I'm using the tip of my oval brush to drag the pigment up into the dry fur area to create the look of long hairs. Now right into that green, I'm adding carbazole violet. This will neutralize the sky area. I also added more Naples yellow into the green and violet. On the left side here, I decided I wanted to soften the fur so that the head and chest remain the focal point. So I wet the fur, letting the background blend in, and added Naples yellow. Once the background was dry, I started with Naples yellow for the lightest color of fur. I'm painting it on the shaggy forehead hair, leaving some white space between the strokes. I'm also painting this on dry paper. Along the ear and the chest, I'm doing the same technique and making sure to paint in the direction of the fur growth. For the darkest browns, I mixed brown ochre with the same carbazole violet that I used in the background. To make the darker strokes and create clumps of hair in the forehead area, I mixed that violet with Naples yellow. This was the most challenging part of painting this cow, and I wasn't very happy with the effect since I thought it looked overworked. So once it dried, I actually lifted away some of those darker areas and made the clumps of fur larger, and I think it looked a lot better. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes once I have made the correction. Now I'm using that same neutral yellowy violet to build up the shadows of the fur along the face and chest. Here you can see where I lifted the paint from the forehead and the strokes are much more subtle. Now I will use gold ochre to deepen some of the shadow areas and a lighter Naples to carefully recreate the lighter shadows. On the bottom of the chest, I'm using gold ochre and violet to darken the shadow areas. On his body, I experimented with some more dry brushing. I don't use this technique very often, but I wanted to try it because I thought it would create the texture I wanted without it looking overworked. At this point, I'm feeling more confident that I'm on the right track with painting this cow, so it's just a matter of continuing to build up the contrast between light and dark and bring out some more of the details. For the horns, I used a combination of Naples yellow, violet, and gold ochre painted wet on wet. I add the paint on the bottom and leave the tops with the highlight. Then before they dried, I added subtle strokes along the horns to create texture. After the final details and adjustments, I decided that the cow needed to be warmed up, so I painted a watery gold ochre glaze over most of the cow, just avoiding the lightest areas of the back and the forehead hair. Thanks for joining me on this Highland Cow painting tutorial. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more art tutorials from me, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can also click the notification bell to be made aware when a new video comes out, or click one of these videos to learn more about watercolor painting. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!